Joining us right now, we've got Joe Pantoliano. Did I do that well?
You did it perfectly. I can't even do it that good.
AKA Joey Pants. You know, some people have more of a problem with it than I do, so they got to just shorten it up to Joey Pants. Do you mind the name Joey Pants, or do you embrace it?
No, because pantalone means pants.
Excellent.
You know that?
I knew it meant it in Spanish. I didn't realize that.
In Spanish, it's pantalonas.
I see. You're far more worldly and smart than I am, Joey. People know you, obviously, from all your movie roles and TV roles and stuff. Ralph on The Sopranos, Cypher in The Matrix, all those movies. But you're doing something cool here, trying to help out people with mental illnesses and trying to, get the stigma that's associated with brain diseases gone. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I have a brain disease of my own called clinical depression. And in my own personal recovery, I thought, how better to use my celebrity than to bring attention to this dis-ease or uneasiness that so many people suffer with and don't get the help that they need and wind up becoming drug addicts, alcoholics, food disorders, gambling disorders, all of these vices that we turn to that are stemming out of a primary illness that has a rapidity rate, recovery rate of over 80% in most cases. And through these realizations in my own recovery and finding ways that I daily get a reprieve from this disease just by talking about it and surrendering to it, I thought this is a great opportunity. So I started calling my friends and asked them if they would be stand beside me, and could I use their name so I could get this message out.
And you've got everybody, man. The list of people that are working with your organization, no kidding me too, is like a who's who of who's doing stuff in Hollywood.
Isn't that great? And because you know why? There's not a family in America right now on this radio station that doesn't have someone in their life or knows someone or is personally going through some kind of mental uneasiness.
Mm-hmm. That's true. We were just talking about this off the air with my producer here, and he was saying that I think you'd be somebody good to deal with this here. He said he thinks he might have a little bit of depression or something, but he's afraid to go in and get it diagnosed because he doesn't want somebody else to tell him that.
Well, but the thing is that in that diagnosis, just the idea that he's thinking about it is fantastic, and it's recovery. And now, in hearing me talk and knowing that my life is, listen, the greatest thing that ever happened to me was being diagnosed with mental illness, because now I forgive my mother for all of her shortcomings that I thought was shortcomings was just the illness. It was the illness working. It was the fact that her father was an alcoholic because of the illness inside of him, and my mother was her drug of choice became food and cigarettes, and so that cut her life in half. Did you know that people with mental illnesses that go untreated will die 25 years younger than those of us that get our stuff, that are being treated and we're working. And how do I take care of my disease this morning? I exercise, I walk, I do yoga, I watch what I eat, I enjoy life. I go to Yankee games. I was at the Yankee game on Friday night, and I'm sitting there, and I just had this wave of sadness that I could have surrendered to that sadness, and in surrendering to it, I acknowledge that it's there, and like a cloud, when you got it rain, like yesterday the game was rained out, you had to wait an hour, but we knew the rain was coming, and then it rained, and then it went away, and we could play the game, and that's what I look at with my own disease today.
Excellent. I think it's really cool coming from you, because a lot of people think, he's a successful Hollywood actor. Like, why would he be feeling feelings of negativity and depression?
Yeah. Well, look at all of our celebrities that, we follow their maniac careers through drugs and alcohol and rehab centers, and they get out of rehab and because they're addicted to alcohol or they're addicted to cocaine. But nobody ever says, well, the reason why I have an addiction to cocaine is because of my bipolarity or my clinical depression. And so what we want to do is make the discussion of mental uneasiness so cool and trendy that it no longer becomes that the shame is, and the stain is then removed from the scenario. You know, if your colleague had asthma and said, you know, I have a problem breathing when it gets cloudy, he would go and talk to a doctor, wouldn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And I told him, I said, you know what I bet Joey's going to say to you? He's going to say, like, what if you broke your leg and you thought something was wrong? Would you not go to a doctor because he was going to tell you your leg was broken?
Yeah, you know, mental disease is the only disease that you can be diagnosed with and get yelled at by a family member for having it. You know, nobody in my family ever said, well, gee, how did you get high cholesterol? And it's all in your head, and just run more. You know, if you exercise more and not eat cheese and bread, you'd probably be okay. Well, no. When I was diagnosed with high cholesterol, my doctor told me to cut out all of these things and exercise more, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. And when I came back in 2 weeks having exercised and cutting out all of these fatty foods, I still had cholesterol that was high. And then he put me on a regimen of statins, and my numbers dropped, and there was no shame there. And that's what I want to do with mental disease, that there is no shame. There is no blame. You obliterate the blame when you surrender to the shame.
That makes sense to me, man. I had deals with anxiety. I didn't know if it was like anxiety, depression, what it was, and I went in and got, tried all the natural stuff. Wasn't working for me. Got put on some medication, and it works wonders for me. Like, I mean,
well, that's the thing. It's wonderful, and that's what I do today. You know, I used to think that the noise in my brain was my noise, and that it was a weakness that I couldn't get the noise to stop. And now through yoga, I understand that that's natural, that the voices in my head are my brain exercising its right to think. It's like me saying I digest, or that I have any control over the way I digest my food. You know.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting, and I think it's cool what you're doing, bringing this discussion to the forefront.
Well, if you think it's cool, you can go to No Kidding Me Too. You can sign up. You can actually be online and chat with the GIs that I just got back from Iraq, showing them this movie of hope and getting them to discuss their feelings from the post-traumatic stress that they're experiencing out there or being away from home. And if you up to it and want to give us a donation so we can continue to make these movies, we've got to find partners right now, because we're making a partnership with a public broadcasting, and we have to give them money in order to put it on television. So we need some corporate sponsors so that we'll be able to show the documentary that way. So that's what we do, and that's what we love doing, and today's a good day because of it.
It's a great organization. No Kidding Me Too is the name. Just Google it. It pops right up. You'll find it right there. Joey Pantoliano. Joey Pants, thanks so much for being on the Big J Show, man, and thanks for the work that you're doing.
Au revoir, JJ.
Bye-bye, man.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.